So Israel and Lebanon's Hezbollah, they've been engaged in these clashes, as we know, for a number of weeks now. But so far, they've been limited, but they have been escalating in recent days. How do you see the situation developing?
I think that the rule of engagement are the same for a longer period of time. And according to what Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah said in his speech, that escalation in the northern of Israel or southern of Lebanon is directly related to what is going on in Gaza. So I think that, and according to Kihan, which is the major newspaper in Iran, it's like the mouthpiece of the Khamenei, when they said or published one day before the speech of Hassan Nasrallah that we are not going to fight for anybody, we are going to help the people who wants to be liberated. We are going to really enhance their consciousness about their situation. They are not fighting for everybody. However, Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah in his speech really said it clearly that the role of Hezbollah in this period of time is to really fix and engage the Israeli forces on, land, air, and sea, and all that kind of forces, in order to fix them, pin them, and not let them go and fight in Gaza. However, in Gaza they don't need such kind of that number or such kind of military. And the war in southern Lebanon would be totally different from 2006. However, in the Israeli mind, they have two fronts. They are fixing one, which is the Lebanese front, and then you're really waging a destructive war in Gaza.
Do you really think, though, that Hezbollah can take on the military might of Israel, given all of its resources and money and, of course, soldiers as well?
The character of war that Hezbollah is fighting is totally different from regular warfare, like the conventional warfare. It is a non-state actor versus a state actor, with the might and technology of Israel. And if I can say it, it's like asymmetrical warfare. So you focus on the weaker point of your opponent, and then you do it. In 2006, Israel entered Lebanon and gave Hezbollah the war and the battle that Hezbollah was really preparing for. It is happening the same in Gaza City today. Hamas went into two phases of strategy. Tufan al-Aqsa, or the flood of al-Aqsa, was the first phase. It was like a push into the Israel or occupied Palestine, and then they are using now the pull strategy to pull the Israeli Air Force army and to go into their land, into their home court. Now the situation is different from 2006. Hezbollah will fight like, bombardment, escalation, bombardment, and counter-bombardment, and that is, we won't see in the Lebanese front any land warfare or any invasion or any incursion from neither side.
And talking about land warfare, as you mentioned there, let's maybe turn our attention to what's going in Gaza right now, because that situation has really intensified. We've been talking about a ground invasion for weeks now. We've seen some of that come to fruition, but we've not really seen a full-scale ground operation. It's difficult to see when you look at the images of Gaza that it could potentially get worse. But do you think that it could? Because sooner or later there won't really be much more to bomb.
My own opinion, it's like a full-fledged land warfare invasion. I mean, when you are attacking the city, because the city of Gaza is now the center of gravity, where the infrastructure of Hamas, the leadership and all of that is located in Gaza. And they are like fighting on three major axes, from the northwest and northeast and from in the middle, and they are trying to isolate the Gaza city. Now everybody is talking about how you will come and go into a city and fighting an urban warfare, having in mind what really happened in 2016-17 in Al-Mosul. It's totally different. So they are seeking, I guess, not to really enter and fight street by street, house by house. They are trying to create what we call like a tactical surprise. And if we see the map and the movement of the Israeli forces, we see in our mind that this indicates that they are going for the Shifa hospital on the on the coast on Al Rashid Street. So maybe they are seeking the center of gravity or command and control or the leadership of Hamas. Maybe according to the Israelis, they don't have to go into the whole city and attack it and pay a heavy price. And since they don't have enough time, the window of time is closing and all of that.
If these Hamas tunnels, though, are underneath, as they say, all these precious civilian places, such as hospitals, namely, how can Israel get to Hamas if these tunnels are underneath such crucially important places where so many thousands of civilians are?
I think that the tunnels are different dimension of warfare. When we fight on the surface of the land, you are fighting like, X and Y and Z, like vertical, horizontal, and then perpendicular. I mean, under Hamas, there is like what we call the metro, and according to the BBC, we have like more than 500 kilometers, but everything, believe me, everything depends on the tactical intelligence. It's about gathering information and data and try to do something that maybe really will, eliminate this threat of tunnels. But it is like a Herculean task to do for the Israelis. So as far as they go into the city, as far as they gather intelligence, but the time is playing against the Israelis during their history in 1973, for instance, in all their wars.
Elias, thank you so very much indeed.